Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. I'm Angel, and I'm one of the co-founders of Zircuit. We are very glad to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me to moderate this amazing panel. I'm here with a lot of the great founders in our space. So I guess we'll start with a round of intro, starting from Marcin.
Hi, I'm Marcin. I'm working on ZK Sync as a Chief Protocol Officer. It's amazing to be here with all of you folks, and let's talk about L2s.
Hi everyone, I'm Ramon, co-founder of Quinto, building a layer 2 for financial applications and RWA, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Hi, I'm Nick. Very nice to be here. I'm building Fuel, which is a optimistic rollup on Ethereum. The primary difference being it is specifically not EVM compatible. Interesting for an Ethereum conference, and yeah, very excited to be here.
Hi everyone, I'm Leona from Intmax. Intmax is a stateless ZK rollup, and I'm super honored to talking with you guys today.
Hi everyone, I'm Amir. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Puffer Labs. We have actually a product live right now, which is a fully permissionless and decentralized liquid restaking protocol that you can run, host your hardware, and also stake permissionlessly. Our aim is to empower Ethereum validators to decentralize the network further. So we have recently announced the launch of our base rollup, Puffer Unify, to help the validators. Thank you.
Great. Once again, I'm from Zircuit. Zircuit is a zero-knowledge rollup. We're launching our phase 1 mainnet next week, so stay tuned. And today's panel is for mass adoption. And I think since the beginning, I think rollups were born with the mission to scale with cheaper transaction costs and faster transaction speed, and to onboard more users. We all have our own approaches. Some of us went with the optimistic route, some of us went with ZK, and some of us are all-purpose, and some of us, like Quinto, you guys are focusing on a specific area. As founders, what do you think is the most important to grow your ecosystem, and what's your plan to bring in the next million or billion users? I guess we'll start with Amir.
Yes, so we really have 3 core values at Puffer: being ethos aligned, being research oriented, and take care of our users. Through that, we were able to really onboard many retail users to our platform today. We have over 240,000 users for our liquid restaking protocol. We have, I believe, more than hundreds of at-home stakers that are taking advantage of our node setup to actually compete with centralized entities. That was our approach to onboarding retail and normal users and professional node operators. For our base rollup, what we really need to enable and aiming to enable is to solve for liquidity fragmentation. That was really a problem, a challenge for dApp developers to develop. Once we are able to solve the infrastructure that enables a better UX for developers and users of these rollups, we would be able to onboard the next batch of developers, new and interesting applications that are to be launched. And the biggest part of it is, for us, being composable with the L1 in real time. That's the real value add of Puffer Unify, and that comes from it being a base rollup. That's where sort of our theme is being based and sunglasses. I'm also putting these on to protect my eyes from the massive projector light. But that's our future, and that's what we believe we can get both users on board and take advantage of our experience from Puffer to actually expand Puffer Unify rollup user base.
Great. Leona?
Yeah, Intmax has both scalability and privacy. At the same time, this is the strength of Intmax. And so right now, Layer 2 is quite a competitive space, and a lot of great projects are making their scalability for EVM, and we are focused on the kind of payment side scalability. In terms of payment stuff, Intmax is the best. I can guarantee that. We can make the gas stable and also private at the same time. And the privacy part is quite important for us. and the core value of Intmax. Their privacy is basically each cycle or each bull market make a lot of privacy behaviors because people want privacy after they get some money or a large amount of money in the bull market, right? On the later stage of each cycle, people realize that they need privacy. Basically, this is a typical or privacy cycle, actually. On the our side, we can start from the privacy focused or user base, and also after that, we can reach out the many kind of payments or users to reach out the and kind of, let's say, all over the world. And I travel a lot in many places like Nigeria and Asia, Turkey and Argentina. These are countries, they have crypto adoption somehow. They're not paying with crypto, but they get salary with crypto and transacting with crypto a lot. And this kind of stuff is happening kind of outside of X space or let's say Twitter space. We up to think that Twitter or X is all about crypto, but what is happening in there? Many places is like a real adoption of crypto with payments. So we can focus on that in the long term, and we can start from acquiring the privacy users and making a privacy focused community who believes the value of privacy in the long term.
Okay. Next we have Nick.
I'm just gonna try to spice things up a little bit here. Can you guys even hear us over there? Can you hear us? Yeah? You can? All right. All right, well here's the spicy take from a layer 2 roll-up developer. I actually don't think there's any barrier anymore to any retail people using any of this. I think we have way more than enough options and infrastructure and different things, and there's no excuses. So I think at this stage, I mean, with Fuel, I would be happy when we launch that we get 100 users, and I make them very happy. I'll take 100. I don't need 1 million. I'll just take 100 really satisfied people. If I can satisfy them, then maybe I'm onto something. So to think millions or billions, sure, if you think you want to handle that. But I think that the main thing is that I think we have so many different techniques and options now that there's no excuse to this being a problem. And in fact, everything with Ethereum and everything with rollups is backend. So we will just make it work. We will continue to improve it. There are many different options. There's ZK techniques and optimistic techniques. We can fight about which one's better, but ultimately I think that we have enough now to do that, so it's not really a technology problem anymore. I think that this is a different juncture that we're in. When it was just Ethereum layer 1, and I couldn't make more than 10 transactions, and there was no other option, and it was really painful, yes, we had a infrastructure issue. But for Ethereum now, I don't see any reason why we can't host millions and billions of people. It's just going to be with varying degrees of security, risk assumptions, and different degrees of what we want to accept for the user experience, what we think is appropriate. But there's no reason now. Infrastructure is not an issue.
Okay, I see Marcin is getting ready to speak.
Sure, because this is actually the thing I agree with. Like, if you look at Ethereum like 2 years ago, 1 year ago, people were paying dozens of dollars for simple transactions. Then L2 came, and now you pay fractions of a cent. So the question is, what else is missing? Where are these billions of users there? All the billions of users to come and build. And for me, this is actually the question I always ask people. It's like, hey, what would make you folks be, hey, all of us are building infra here. What is the piece that you're missing to be like, hey, this is there. I'm going to go and build an application right now for the users.
Can I say what is missing?
Please.
It's like, right now, we're going after this sort of like winner stack take all assumption on the rollup, and that has been causing this liquidity fragmentation. Everybody is trying to sort of like really promote that my stack is winner, please join my stack, and then one stack grows the liquidity, one other stack, so it causes sort of fragmentation. We are promising to resolve the fragmentation at some point, but let's say I have a lending protocol on rollup X that uses X stack, and I have now a DEX that I want my liquidation to be represented at, which sits on rollup B, but they cannot in any way communicate or talk to each other. Haven't we really fragmented that?
But this is for DeFi, and I'm hoping that blockchain is a lot more than just DeFi. DeFi
Yeah.
is a placeholder.
I guess like to go back to your original point, right? Like what are we missing? I think user experience is still lacking a lot. Like these days, one of the exciting things for this cycle is actually Ton. Like so many Ton apps are pumping out, and they're bringing a lot of like millions of new users already. And yeah, we have many exciting new things this cycle. We have the ETFs, we have the TradFi institutional players, we have technology breakthroughs. And I wanted to actually ask, what do you think that we can build now that we weren't able to before? And what kind of projects or dApps are in your mind that could actually help with mass adoption?
Yeah, I can take this one. And I think it goes back to what Nick was saying. There is enough block space, so another spicy take. I don't think we need 30, 40, 50 layer 2s. The only reason to build a layer 2 is like if you are changing the EVM, changing the chain to satisfy a specific use case. In our case, we have a Arbitrum L2 that is designed to onboard financial institutions and RWA use cases. In our case, we have modified the chain to require KYC, so every user that needs to use the chain is required to complete the KYC process, but we're still decentralized, we're still permissionless, we're still connected with the Ethereum ecosystem. But users and institutions can operate on Ethereum now instead of having to use private blockchains, permission blockchains. And they can connect where the liquidity is, where the developers are, and when the users are that are in Ethereum. And we also focus on allowing users to use crypto without even knowing it's crypto. We have native account abstraction as well, so users don't have to worry about gas, don't have to worry about private keys, but they still enjoy non-custodial accounts, and they can access financial services without knowing it's crypto.
Okay, great.
The thing I would add, this is the thing that actually excites me the most going forward, is with the ZK technology, even the demos that we've seen a couple days back, you can actually start proving Web 2 behavior on Web 3. Things like Zap, ZK email, ZK passport. And this is super powerful because this means that we can actually allow users to take the data that they have on Web 2 and prove it on Web 3. And for me, this will be, again, this progress in ZK technology, this progress in proving, will, with things also like FHE, with also like privacy coming in, this will really move a needle from blockchain being just token swapping and people buying NFTs to actual applications that users care about, that users use daily.
Yeah, I think we've had a lot of projects working on ZK Proof this cycle. And they're even bringing it to like Bitcoin and like other chains, right? How about this side? What kind of projects or dApps do you think we can now build that we weren't able?
So something now which was impossible before and possible right now, right? So I think that basically after DeFi, there's no significant new kind of upgrade of the new movement, but I think it should be. So Layer 2 is not making a new kind of totally new things. It's all about the kind of making Ethereum scalable, right? And we are providing the new stuff like privacy stuff. And also stateless application is fine in our architecture. For example, in Phoenix, they have a privacy smart contract. But basically, mainstream of Layer 2, they don't allow significantly different use cases from Layer 1. And it's fine. And Layer 2 allows more kind of gas limitless kind of DeFi or something like that. No, I heard that some of DeFis can go beyond the 8 million gas limit. They don't have that limitation, so they can make a new kind of stuff like super difficult computation, finance, or kind of let's say finance, tech, engineering, and many stuff are happen with that kind of new scalability. But basically, scalability is all about the layer 2, and we are kind of we don't get out from the Ethereum. Basically, it's a use case of Ethereum, I think. So
Okay.
the other stuff like the AI with ZKP and the real world asset or TLS or Oracle, as he said, it's quite fascinating. But basically, how to tokenize everything and how to make it tradable is the mainstream of the Ethereum, in my opinion, and it's totally fine if we don't have a significantly different architecture or application architecture, in my opinion.
Okay. I think we might have different opinions on that.
I'm about to jump in again with different opinions. I feel like at Puffer, we love bringing AI on chain, right? We actually worked on building an end-to-end encrypted facial recognition out of a trusted execution environment. But then we went down a level. We were like, what does it take to create this future money as Ether? What does it take that an entire banking system of a country just decides, I would like to have a fork of Ethereum. I would like to have a roll-up that runs on Ethereum for my financial paradigm. We started by addressing it from that layer. Is it ready yet? Does it have, let's say, privacy? Does it have provability to actually create these paradigms of trust so we can create this future of financial ecosystem? Can we start by creating a great decentralized foundation that we can finally end up getting to the dream of decentralized compute and decentralized world computer as well that can do all this future interesting stuff? That's where we took it now step by step. Our excitement initially after creating that was like, okay, this is very exciting. These things are all possible, but let's now create a great foundation that can deliver us this massive future and possibilities that this future of internet can bring us, which is these future use cases and applications.
Okay.
See, I mean, the thing is, and maybe again, I'll just try to keep it real spicy just for the audience here. Let's keep it real. I don't think any of this matters. I think it's all exciting, and it's great for us. It's great for the people in the room, and it's great for maybe like 20,000 developers or whatever, something like that, that actually really need to care about this. I think for me, I'm not sold yet that these are actual things or real problems. I mean, I like the ZK email thing, but wouldn't it be better if Google just had a key and signed things? I mean, that's what you're using the TLS certificates for and all this other stuff, but it's a hack, Like, it would be better if these companies just used basic signatures for things, and then we could actually start operating over anything, right? So I'm all for it. I think it's all really cool, and it's an interesting intersection. And I think as well, in terms of ZK, at least what it has going for me that I really like is that right now, most users go through a server to get everything. So it doesn't matter what you do. They can try to prove to your browser, which is also being served by the server, to a user a bunch of things. But it all goes through a server anyway that someone's trusting. There's a trusted endpoint there. At least if everything was ZK, maybe there would be more ways that we could prove more things about what has happened, which is excellent. But even still, I think that as far as use cases are concerned, we keep soul searching for more and more use cases, but I think even the very most primitive use cases we have for Ethereum are actually incredibly powerful. Even just a Gnosis safe, stable coins, and being able to set up a Gnosis safe and use stable coins to pay people is such a tremendous amount of the global economy that, like, even if we just did that really well, we would be really doing great. In most of the paradigms of security that we see typically anyway, yes, you can get more provability and more evidence of things that have happened behind the server, But even still, most users, similar to HTTPS, I mean, they know it's there, they know it's important, they don't really know why, and we're still in a very experimental phase of a lot of these things. So I think for me, looking at the space right now, I still think that we make up a lot of reasons to want certain things, and we certainly should try to get more evidence like client proofing, ZK proofing, all kinds of evidence into the system. But I still don't think it's really the real barrier to why we don't have users. I think the real barrier to why we have don't have more users is because of who we are. You know, we're nerds. There's no way we don't figure this out.
I'm not a nerd.
No.
I'm not a nerd.
I'm still gonna say you're a nerd because you're moderating a very complex panel.
Okay,
So no,
right.
you're still a nerd.
All right, I'm proud to be a nerd.
Yeah. The thing is, unfortunately, a lot of the reasons why mass adoption might or might not happen is all based around things that are not technological. They are other reasons. There's other reasons why. There's other motivations for why human beings would or would not want to use these things. So I think for me, there's deeper stuff going on here. I'm very happy that people are trying based approaches, ZK approaches, optimistic approaches, different kinds of approaches in general. It's very, very good, and Ethereum's very diverse in that way. But I also think that it's still not enough for me as a reason why we haven't hit this stuff just yet. I mean,
So can I say something?
Sure.
As an engineer, you can build a bridge. It can be fine 10 days. It can be fine 100 years, but 1 year that it can collapse. How far are we taking being optimistic, right? One of the reasons I feel like I would counter argue that we haven't been able to onboard these folks yet is like we haven't, one, been able to prove to them that this infrastructure is ready for you to reliably put away your Visa card and start using this as your form of transaction and communicating with others.
I mean,
right?
I disagree. My whole wealth, life, everything is on Ethereum. Vitalik's sitting over there. Because of him, I secure my entire life on this thing. Now, I really hope we don't mess it up. I really do. And I kind of leave it to the smart people in the room.
You actually mentioned the retailers who sit at home.
Yes.
Do they have the knowledge and comfort level that you do after working 5 years or how many ever years?
I don't need to rely on that because once they figure out how Wall Street works, they'll really come here. I mean, don't worry about it. Wall Street will take care of itself, and they'll be here in due time, okay? And then, instead of looking to the Federal Reserve gods, they'll be looking at Vitalik, probably Anatoly, and some few other people and going, well, I guess these guys have figured it out, So, I mean, the thing is, I think there's enough motivation in the world brewing for why crypto. I think that it's happening all the time. Every time a government ruins their currency, every time a corporation ruins their customer base, they come to crypto. And they find our stuff, and then it's now a diverse thing that you have to navigate through to get there.
Well, we are getting a lot of attention from the traditional world, right? Like these days, like all the political campaigns, they're talking about crypto.
They just want swing voters, but still, I know what you mean. Yeah. It's becoming a thing, which is cool.
It is going on, and then we are like having more awareness from like the general public about our space. And I do want to move on to the next question, which is I think Ethereum, since the beginning, has always been kind of the playground for people to try out new ideas, to experiment new things. And luckily, this cycle, we've been seeing more Ethereum stuff brought on to other blockchains and ecosystems. For example, we did restaking. We started with Ethereum restaking, and then now a lot of Bitcoin projects are also trying to do staking, even restaking, and they're also bringing Bitcoin staking onto Ethereum. And that's, I think I want to ask, how do you think as rollups, how do you think we can improve the interoperability between blockchains and improve the user experience for people to smoothly interact between ecosystems?
Yeah, I can start, and I can tie to the previous question. I mean, 5 years from now, the best technology that always wins is invisible and needs to be invisible. And I think 5 years from now, 3 years from now even, users are not going to know if they are using Arbitrum, Optimism, Circuit, Quinto, whatever it is. But they're just going to use an application that uses crypto in the backend to do something that they couldn't do before. And in the case of finance, it can be that it's 24/7, it settles in a second instead of 3 days, it's a lot cheaper, and that's what the user is going to see. And then in the backend and behind the scenes, you're going to have all this synchronous composability that is going to happen, and then the Ethereum roadmap will be fully achieved once you can seamlessly hop between all these diverse ecosystems and kind of switch liquidity like if it was all a Solana.
Okay.
The way I would say it is that with interrupts, we're going to get different flavors, right? There will be trade-offs between the latency, the costs, the risks, of course. One thing that I hope that all the rollups can agree on, and this is also what Vitalik was mentioning yesterday, is that the same way how internet is working thanks to TCP/IP, that we have these basic things from addressing so that we can at least, that we don't confuse our users, that we don't confuse the apps that are building on top of us.
So yeah, I prefer the client side implementation and client side proving stuff on the before 2022, people said that client side ZKP is impossible. Client side ZKP is something like prover huge with the huge computation power, aggregate that and these kind of stuff. But recently it's totally possible. On the client side ZKP takes only 5 seconds or 10 seconds to make a very kind of certain level of computation or certain level of circuit, and it's super useful to make assets interoperable between layer 2s and the. We can input all the stuff of layer 2 on the blockchains to the client circuit, and the you can make a asset of trans kind of interoperability on the this kind of stuff. So I presume that the age of clients and ZKP will come after this.
Right, but you want addressing. Without addressing, like users have to input something, right? Users have to input who they are sending stuff to, and if everybody's using a different thing, and if every protocol is using a different way of selecting.
So it's all about you make proof or prover make proofs. On the basically client side can do that in this age. They can input all their hashes or market root and the blockchain data into their client side circuit actually. And our project doing that. So basically it's totally possible right now.
I would come out again, since we're really interacting with normal retail users here at Puffer, is yes, they do care about composability where they go. They do about let's say they have a project or a community that they want to take advantage of this yield-bearing token that they're minting. They want to take advantage of it on another chain, another ecosystem, another even taste of EVM. I would say to get there, to get to that level of composability, we really need to probably get to a decent level of snark provers. If we get to a stage that we can probably prove our state on Apple Watch, I don't know, a phone or anything, then we can comfortably say, okay, we made it. Again, we beat the Visa that runs out of our Apple wallets. If it runs there, we can prove this state, then we can really prove the state to any other chain and be able to communicate with them as well. So yeah, that's where we can get the ultimate end game sort of interoperability.
Yeah, I mean, it would be, I thought ZK Sync would have just said, ZK is the end game, Why didn't you say that? I thought
you already did that. It's fantastic. We want community to say that.
Right,
so.
right. You work together here. Yeah. So I think for me, there's two sort of fundamental paths, right? One is that everything is ZK, which would allow you then to prove in such a way that basically every chain can prove each other's state, can prove evidence of where funds are. So you can basically accept, for example, if it's secure enough, the cryptography, you can accept that another chain is valid and the state is X, which is enough then to have one kind of global layer of evidence that can interoperate with each other. Now, the alternative is until things are entirely ZK, basically you need to be willing to accept other assumptions. And what assumptions you want to accept are sort of up to both the developers, the projects, and what the users want and what the market wants. And so if we are in the realm of accepting assumptions, then there is different kinds of assumptions with different levels of guarantee. And it's basically along the lines of how much do you trust, say, an honest minority assumption of arbitrum or optimism? How much do you trust particular assumptions? What are they worth? How could they be bonded? And how can you solve a coincidence of wants across both ZK and non-ZK, right? So basically ensuring that the math is correct versus ensuring that the assumptions are correct. And you have to, at least for the next few years, we'll have to play a bit of a game where we use trust assumptions across our architecture, both for things like just getting ahead of proving, but also between interoperating these different chains. However, if you calibrate the trust assumptions right, you can solve probably 80 to 90% of the liquidity inefficiency you see right now.
Okay. I think we have a pretty big panel today, and we are already going over time.
Sure.
And so I'm just gonna interrupt there. All of us are very happy to be in Tokyo, and we definitely love the Japanese communities. We've been hosting a lot of side events. Zirkit has been doing our Made Cafe event and tuna party. I hope you guys were able to come. And you know, we have a lot of booths outside, and our teams will be there. So please feel free to come chat with us. We're definitely very exciting about bringing more opportunities to the Japan market, and very excited to see that the regulations are starting to open up and getting more welcoming. Yeah, and very glad to be here. And I think we'll continue our discussion off stage. And yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
All right, thank you very much.
ありがとうございました。
Hey,
行っちゃった
whoa,
行っちゃった
he's
行っ
already
ちゃった
going.
早い
All right, let's
早
keep
い
it
早
going.
い
Keep this party going.
そんな
Go, go, go,
そんな
go.
ラーメンの話行く行く行くもう行っちゃいましょうか行っちゃいましょうもう
Let's go.
あ携帯気をつけてくださいね
Oh,
あ音いただきました
hey,
お
oh,
ーワイルド
oh my God.
大丈夫
Oh,
大丈夫ですか事故起きてませんか
I know it's Japan, but don't karate kick anyone in the head, please.
空手したわけじゃないのよ空手のキックしたわけじゃないのよ、ね
It looked like karate to me.
はいありがとうございました